you guys for being here. Dad life is hard. Baby's a great distraction. He's awesome, but, you know, very demanding of attention, whether he intends it or not, I guess, because he's kind of awesome. CoreWeave up 8%. Nvidia, I thought the earnings weren't that great, but, you know, clearly the street's okay with it. I don't know much about IVVD, honestly. It kind of trades with COVID, and I'm not following COVID too closely. Like, I don't know if it's sometimes COVID. It's kind of got a mind of its own. It spikes up, it goes down, it comes back. We scientists still don't know what is going to happen with COVID over the next 10 years. Why is quantum up? Yeah, AVXL Dave Reckoning is coming pretty soon. Didn't really get to listen to the Nvidia call as much as I wanted to. Yeah, revenue growth is not that, 50% revenue growth is still insane revenue growth, so just keep that in mind. Good opportunity to get back into quantum short if you're out of it, and then I'm still basically waiting for the ATYR results. That's the main thing I'm focused on, but certainly not, still short quantum, still paying attention. I'm not too excited about buying PLTR, it's pretty expensive. I mean, if you can be confident that the revenue growth can accelerate, then it would have to accelerate to like 100% revenue growth, which, should I sell my winners and add to my losers? That's funny, Kev. I should picture.
Used Bloomberg for my entire career, which is for quite a long time, that is. And it is up to, the cost is up to $26,000 per year to use.
Oh my gosh, new photo dropped. Who's ready? Look at this guy. We're doing our privately held companies. We're trying to figure out how to deal with ticker conflicts. It's a lot of fun. It's like Grammarly. The obvious ticker would be Gram, but there is a Gold Florida Corporation. Or at least that one's delisted, so theoretically it should be able to do Gram. SeatGeek, private company. You can't execute orders through Godel yet. We're working on it. There's a company called Boxable. Now this is the hardest one, is Carta and Instacart. It's pretty different, Vasco. I mean, you can try it, just try it and see. Just go to app.godlterminal.com. So there's Flutterwave and Flutter, Sci5, Starburst. I didn't know there was a company called Starburst. How about just Star? Capsule. Every permutation of Capsule is taken, so I think maybe give it Pill. Just Pill. Ah, there's a Pill already. I mean, it can be 5 letters too. Okay, 𝗏𝗏𝗡 is going to be tough because there's Cal-Maine Foods. So CLM, Calm. That's tricky. That's taken. Calm with 2 M's. That's tough on Lyra and Lyra Therapeutics. They're both like, their name is literally. I made some creative suggestions on how to handle a new private that needs a ticker that conflicts with the public. There's not too many Fidgis for the privates. And I think users don't want to look up Fidgi. They want to just type the ticker that they learn. That's the whole point of tickers, right? Yeah, Bloomberg does it similarly, but I think people do want to be able to kind of have a ticker symbol. Because what if you want to do like a QM or focus quote or something like that? At some point you want a convenient way to refer to the stock without typing the whole thing out. Yeah, I agree with you, Combis. We might be able to fix that for you. Nvidia down 1% today. Rigetti up an astonishing 11%. Kramer calling out Rigetti as a long. Snowflake up 21%. Yeah, Ionq did hire some board members, which is not hard to do. A lot of people want to be on boards for some reason. Mostly brokies. New feature called Expert XPRT. Nebius and CoreWeave are overvalued, I think. If you just do the book value of Nebius' products, right? They buy the products from Nvidia, right? How are the products worth a lot more than their cost? Well, that's my question. They're certainly worth more than their cost, but how much more? Because if they're worth 100x more than their cost, Nvidia is underpricing them. If they're worth less than their cost, Nvidia is way overpricing them. Nobody would buy them. And that dynamic keeps the value and the margins for Nebius and CoreWeave limited. It's just a value-added service, right? It can literally not be that valuable. You can try to compare it to cell towers, but I think those are fundamentally different businesses. That's a good question, Vlad. Denmark has different securities laws than the rest of the world, you know? They probably would say it's not material or something. Yeah, IVVD's gone to 82, on its way to 100. I gotta do some programming, stuff like that, so. Yeah, Sarepta probably needs another quarter or two. Wait, Manjaro? Newegg down a lot. Other people don't. It only looks so easy in retrospect, because remember, it went from 10 to here. So, plenty of people still down on it or got stopped out on it. Yeah, I think you can go all in on ATYR. I'm shocked Nvidia's not down. I thought expectations were really high, but the PE, the cash flow and earnings ratios, those things are kind of fairly reasonable. I have to work on part two. I've definitely read that like Anthropic and OpenAI are considering AMD and TPUs, but I don't think they're going to be too happy with them. I certainly wouldn't use them. I'm out of Newegg. Ring the register. Definitely changed the game for Nvidia. I almost feel like selling Abbvie and shorting Brigetti, but it's the exact opposite of what you want to do. You never want to add to your losers while cutting off your winners. I mean, it's like very toxic thing to do. I had to learn that the hard way 100 times. 101st time. I said, all right, you know what? Let me hang on to the position that's actually making me money. I'm tired, yeah. Even if you have conviction, it's kind of like you have your position on. You know, why do you need... Because just because you see it's up, say, 10%, it's like, do you have that much more conviction at 17 versus 16? No. If I like the long at Abbvie at 80, do I like it less at 82? Not really. So there's this feeling that you should be reflexive, not in the Soros way, but just reactive, I guess is a better word, that you're, just reacting more quickly. Oh, this price is up. What a great thing to do. And it's like, it's not really changing your allocation over a couple % move in price. I don't see that being a real smart thing to do. Very far from best practices. Oh boy, so when I enter a position, what's the most important thing I look for? I mean, I just stick to the fundamentals. Really just what's the dislocation from the fair value is really it. How much different is the market price from what I think it eventually will settle out at? And I try not to worry about the short term because, look, like I said, at Newegg, that worked pretty much the instant we put the trade on. And I was willing to fight it for a few weeks or a month, but it worked like literally the second we put the trade on. It just started collapsing, and that's great. Obviously, that did not happen with some of the other stocks, and we've had to fight them. And in essence, that time, sometimes they call it lambda, which is just a fun variable name. But that lambda time to, resolution or fair value is unpredictable. I didn't know if Newegg was going to work right away. If it did, I put every dollar I had in it, right? That's a tautology. If you know when a trade's going to go in your favor, the IRR would make you the richest person in the world. But you don't know. So you have to be careful about your position sizes. But if the second you put a trade on, it started working, you have instantaneous profits and you could basically just print yourself to being a billionaire very quickly. Reality is different. Reality is that sometimes it happens right away. Sometimes you fight it and then it happens. Sometimes you're just wrong. Sometimes you can fight it, but it's gonna deal so much financial damage to you that you can't really fight it. You think you can fight it, right? But if a stock goes from 2 to 200, how do you fight that if you're short? And the same thing alongside, Sometimes we buy a stock, like, look, Abbvie, I don't think we had a day that it wasn't, even a couple of days where it wasn't higher than the couple of days before, right? It's been a rocket ship from 50-something to 80-something. It's great, timed it perfect. I wish all my trades were like Abbvie and Ionq, but you're going to get some stinkers, and that's, if you think you can invest or trade without stinkers, God bless you, You don't need me, that's for sure. Definitely don't need me. Yeah, Squeege, I don't know. I mean, I think that my job is to be right. When I'm right, I'm right. I don't think I'm allowed to even have American investors. Odell has investors, but no, he's asking about my trade. Yeah, I'm long. I don't know what's going on with the stock. I have a small long. But I like it. I haven't done anything today other than covering Ewig. Just covering Ewig, that's it. I think my average on it is right around this price, but I'm not so worried about that. I'm about to double up. 𝗦𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗏 style. While you're all hating, I'm celebrating. Yeah, that never happens. Drugs don't work by accident. Do the math. Do your own simulations. Scary. Man, when was the last time you got that something like that backfired on you? Now what's funny is Cassava, they did defraud with that phase 2. Yeah, $50 is pretty unlikely for Newegg unless things really have substantially turned around for the business, which don't think that's happened, dog. More Ionq selling stockholders. What baggy's buying all the stock? Oh yeah, just don't go big. There's going to be tons of other binaries in your life. I'd rather give you guys one really high conviction trade. The J1 is an epi phenomenon. It's the J1 antibody gets raised because the cell is breaking, and from inside the cell is spilling out of the cell, causing an immunogenic response, but it actually doesn't cause disease. I mean, it causes disease, but not through tRNA, not through HARS. It causes disease because it's this antibody making a lot of noise, but it's not recognizing some central epitope that's causing this illness. It's a bit of a mystery, to be honest. Yeah, it's the Joe Springer antibody. The bar is not low. The bar is not low. The bar for any drug to work is very high. The standard deviation is high. If you have no effect signal, there's no low bar. A low bar can happen when you have 20,000 patients. Then you have a low effect size. It's not a huge clinical trial. You need the effect size. Torque hasn't started trading yet, so the account's still getting set up. How is it a low bar? You have to have a drug that does something to meet your primary endpoint. The endpoint doesn't change the bar, it's the effect size that determines how low the bar is. Statistics are statistics. You either have alpha or you don't, right? There's no endpoint that's easier to hit than another endpoint. Paternity leave. Bro, I'm a man, bro. I got a guide a company to success. How does it reduce inflammation? How would it reduce inflammation? Through what? It's immunogenic. The J1 antibody shows you it's an immunogenic protein. So why the fuck would you give it? All you can do is create an immune reaction. Replicating phase 2 would be terrible. It's not stat safe. It never will be. That too, you won't replicate. You'll mean revert, but replicating a 20% reduction in steroid use would not be able to win. It's a 20% delta separation, right? How do you modulate immunotherapy with NRP2? It's not an immune thing. NRP2 doesn't do anything. Look at NRP2 knockouts. Do they get infectious? If they got infections, okay, that would make sense. But NRP2 knockouts don't do anything. Yeah, phase 2 to phase 3 not only reduces effect size, there was no effect size to reduce. You're talking about drugs that kind of work. This drug didn't work at all. What was the p-value? Why no p-value? Where'd the p-value go? I feel like I'm teaching level 1, grade 1, biostats/biopharma. No p-value means bad, failed, didn't work, not gonna work again. Signal is not replicatable. There is absolutely zero chance it works. Like 0.00000. The more patients, the worse it is for them. I'm not even sure I believe in their publication either. So I hate to say this loud, but like standard deviation and change is what gives you the p-value, right? That's it. Sample size, standard deviation, and change. That matters when you look at a drug. If the change is very low compared to the standard deviation, no amount of patients is going to change anything. It's 100 years old. This is a whole bunch of fugazi. There's nothing here. Doing diligence here is an insult to anyone's intelligence, but they just have a process. They can't stop the process because, this is as bad as Symiflam, honestly. Yeah, Shkreli has some founder stock from some old companies, but he ain't invested in biotechs. He gets his shares for free. This isn't it. It's not like he's putting his name on this. This is somebody else's. He just has plausible deniability. The statistics do matter. You can get a 40... I've seen many drugs with 40 patient strong signal. This is not a strong signal. I don't trust any of those companies, Thomas. There's no such thing as AI drug discovery. We know what the standard deviation is. Sure, Tom. Make sure you sign up for Goodell, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 this channel. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. It's gonna, it's a very speculative bet. I mean, it's probably gonna take a year. Hell yeah, the kid is a distraction. You think Shkreli don't already know that? Mom's taking care of that kid. You don't need me. I'm a thug. I ain't supposed to raise him in the first place. I'm supposed to raise him in the first place. Well, you think I learned in jail? Them boys don't raise them kids in there, man. Got 4 or 5 kids and been blocked from 26. 4 or 5 different moms, man. Papa was a Rolling Stone, man. Shout out to all y'all. All 3 y'all. This is a Bangladeshi stockbroker. You don't trade Bangladeshi telecom stocks, bruh? I can make it, bruh. For real. Everbright Securities is lit. Now, I don't speak Chinese, but my girl do. You ever read research in Vietnamese, bro? You should not be getting into new industries frequently. That's recipe for disaster. Stick to the industry you know best. You want to study every industry? Jesus. Good luck. I mean, I would start with reading the core knowledge in that field. Understand the basics. If you go I did it ass backwards in pharma. It worked, but it was difficult and slow. The better way to do it is go be a doctor, Go be a chemist. Do something like that, and then fill in knowledge gaps, because there are plenty. Gonna be a lot of knowledge gaps anyway. Pharma is one of these things you can't pick up by yourself, because it touches so many damn fields that your formal education might, quite frankly, overconfidence you into a point where, you do think you know medicine, but, doctors don't know medicine. Doctors, they're just not scientists. So, they don't really ever get into the drug discovery process. So it's just they have an overconfidence as to what's going to work. They really don't even know what drugs look like. Well, I mean, ideally, you would get a degree in every field relevant to that area. The problem with pharma is that becoming a doctor, becoming a biomedical PhD, biochemical, biomedical research, and getting a degree in chemistry, but also pharmacology. Nobody can do all these things. There's no real one degree that makes you an expert in pharmaceuticals, unfortunately. But if there was one, I would have it. First time I heard a dude tell me he wanted to take paternity leave from one of my companies, I'm sorry, what? I mean, I'll let you take a day off. All right? After that, get your back to work. You want that baby to grow up broke? Can't fire somebody for taking paternity leave. But yeah, she's taking maternity leave, but she gotta do a whole bunch of recovery, feeding the baby. Serious. Catch up to Elon, one by one. Got a little head start. You got a little head start, but ain't about that life. Actually, I am about that life. I have as many companies as I have babies. Yeah, he might be part of the generation that falls in love with machines. Dad, I'm marrying a machine. But he's gonna be like, I'm marrying Sally, and be like, bro, Sally's a robot. You can't marry Sally. Dad, why can't you accept my love? It's not biological love. Oh my God. Listen, kid. I'm decommissioning that robot. You're gonna kill my girl. Yeah, kill your girl. All right. Unplugging this robot. Sell spare parts. You can't do that. You can't do that to my love. Man. That's a machine, bro. That ain't a person. You're trying to marry AWS instance. What you doing? You're trying to marry US East. You fell in love with US East 1. Dad, that's like asking what happens if your heart is out. I can't help it, but notice, Sally, you're a computer. Well, that's okay. So are you. I guess my brain is a computer. Is that what you mean? Yeah. You're biological, and I'm silicon. Probably smarter than me. I am smarter than you.